In the previous video, I discussed with you what are the components of budget, and we discussed this thing: budget, revenue account, capital account, and then the components. But what is the definition of budget? It's the annual financial statement telling about government's income and expenditure. Hence, it has to be income and expenditure. This classification is wrong. How it should be? It should be like this: budget, income, expenditure. So if I talk about budget, it consists of receipts and expenditure. Expenditure is of two types: capital expenditure, revenue expenditure. Receipts, two types: capital receipts, revenue receipts. Now point is, even this diagram is correct. But if I had told you directly about this, that government's budget, it consists of two types of expenditure: capital expenditure, revenue expenditure. Capital receipts, revenue receipts, you would have asked me, from where are you getting this capital receipts, revenue receipts, capital expenditure, revenue expenditure? Now you know it. But you know, the revenue expenditure and revenue receipts are coming from revenue account, and capital receipts and capital expenditure are coming from the capital account. Now what exactly is capital expenditure? Capital expenditure is that expenditure which either creates assets or reduces liabilities. So as it creates assets, therefore this expenditure is always appreciated and the government should try to maximize it. And if I talk about revenue expenditure is negative of this. Negative means which neither creates assets nor reduces liabilities. Now, as it doesn't create assets, therefore this expenditure is always criticized, and hence the government should try to minimize it. And if I talk about capital receipts are opposite of this. Opposite of this means which either creates liabilities or reduces assets. And similarly, what is revenue receipts? It is negative of this, which neither creates liabilities nor reduces assets. So if you have to memorize this diagram, you would always start with expenditure on the right side, and in the expenditure you start with capital expenditure on the right side, rightmost side, and then you know what is capital expenditure. It either creates assets or reduces liabilities. And then using this definition you can derive everything. Negative is revenue expenditure, opposite is capital receipts, and that's how you derive everything. This is very, very important because in prelims there are questions that which expenditure is classified as revenue expenditure, which expenditure is classified as capital expenditure. Go through this short in very, very comprehensive, very, very, I would say, diligent manner. Thank you.